puts her lightly in the rear, an act so neatly conceived it makes her laugh in mid-yawn. The golfers plod on screen, 7 or 8 in all, white, male, portly, several driving golf carts, bumping slowly over knolls in single file. They're all middle-aged and wear the kind of rampantly bright sports clothes that suburban men favor on weekends, colors so strident they might serve as illustrations of the folly of second childhood. The piano player adds an element of suspense to his sequence. His face, although lined about the eyes, has been slow to lose an appealing openness, the objective emblem of a moral competence we associate with young people who make pottery or do oceanic research. Moist surfaces, light breeze, the mist beginning to clear. The golfers cluster around a tee, and the members of an improvised threesome drive in turn, twisting their bodies to the flight of the ball. They set off down the fairway as their companions take practice swings, one of them, yellow cardigan, tucking the club head into his armpit and sighting along the shaft briefly in a rifle-firing jest, this wholly offhand moment shading away into borders of surrounding activity. The older of the homosexuals leans over the top of the ashtray to give his companion a theatrical nudge. The piano player has also noticed the neatly concealed gesture of the golfer in the yellow cardigan and responds with a series of bass chords. Import, foreboding. It's worthwhile to point out that the characters and landscape are being seen through the special viewpoint of a long lens. This is a lesson in the intimacy of distance. Space in this context seems less an intuitive experience than a series of relative densities. It intervenes in compact blocks. What the camera shares with those watching is an appreciation of optical cunning, a sense of being unseen, the audience as privileged onlookers. The piano music, a substitute soundtrack as well as a medium of autonomous comment, begins to express a deepening degree of sly apprehension that blends well with the film's precisely timed sequence of shots, each slightly briefer than the one before, a suggestion of routine events about to give way to some unforeseen pressure. The young woman has managed to stop yawning. The man alongside studies the fingernails of his right hand. He does this with fingers bent in over the palm, thumb extended. The woman, without taking her eyes from the screen, reaches over, grabs his thumb, and begins to bend it back. He looks up and away, eyeballs rolling. In time, he begins making the sound either or both of them make when troubled by anxiety, critical choices, nameless dread, the prospect of boring dinner guests, his job, her job. The woman in the rear looks on without expression. It's a prolonged hum, the speech sound, The golfers on this sweet green morning attend to their game. Together again momentarily on a particular fairway, they appear almost to be posing in massed corporate glory before a distant flag. It is now that the vigilant hidden thing, the special consciousness implicit in a long lens, is made to show itself. A man, his back to the camera, rises from the underbrush in the immediate foreground, about 200 yards from the golfers. When he turns to signal to someone, it's evident he holds a weapon in his right hand, a semi-automatic rifle. After signaling, he doesn't reassume his crouch. One of the golfers selects an iron. Another man comes up out of the shrubbery, rising to his full height. We don't know his precise location as it relates to any of the other people. He faces the camera. Behind him are deep woods. His clothing is diverse: baseball cap, peak up, threadbare paisley vest, work shirt, garrison belt, white trousers fitted into high boots. Bandoliers crisscross his chest. He carries a cut-down Enfield. The long lens picks out a man and a woman standing at the top of a small hill. More bass chords, accumulating doom. At this distance, they appear to be built into the sky, motionless, both carrying rifles. Another woman, in a much tighter shot, stands alone in a sand trap, barefoot, wearing a tank top and fringed buckskin pants. One leg is bent, all her weight on the other, the left. She holds a machete back up over her right shoulder, resting it there. The piano player moves to the end of the bench and sits up on one haunch for a fuller look at the screen, his fingers not straying from the keyboard. The first of the terrorists begins the long run across the fairway. Most of what happens next takes place in